Hello, Flosstube. My name is Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches, and this is my, excuse me, my frog in my throat. My update number 246 for those of you keeping score at home. This is a channel about cross stitch, and we're going to talk about that real quick. And again, I'm going to make a fairly quick video, I hope, because today is Saturday, the 20th, and my dad is expected to come home from the hospital today. We were able to get a hospital bed. It was delivered yesterday, and there's a few odds and ends that are supposed to come in today. So I wanted to get my video done this morning before all the chaos ensues. So I wanted to do this, kind of quickly, and I don't have a whole lot to share. So I am going to go ahead and talk and dive right into my cross stitch. So this month's I didn't do a whole lot of work on any. I didn't do much on all the things I showed last week. They were sort of little extras, and so I wanted to work on my WIPGO things for the rest of the month. And as I have time, I may stick those other things in there, as you'll see. And but for the most part, I've been working on one of my WIPGO calls. So my two WIPGO calls this month were both new starts, and I had chosen a Parade of Elephants for my number 20 and number 25, the Elephant Biscornu by Tiny Modernist. Now the Elephant Biscornu I showed last week, I had started it on Friday, World Cross Stitch Day, and on the Friday the 12th. So, and I haven't really worked on it since then because I've been working on Parade of Elephants. Excuse me, Parade of Elephants by Jeannine McGowan of the Blue Flower. But I did work a little bit on the Blue Elephant DMC kit, and I'll show that in a little bit. So, Parade of Elephants by Jeannine McGowan is in the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. Last issue, the spring issue, she had a pattern called Wisdom of Wombats, and it was three little wombats holding up books, and turn this way a little bit. So that pattern is in there, but this one, Parade of Elephants, is from the summer issue, summer 2020 issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. So, and I have actually, hold on one second. Like I talked about last week, the fabric is, let me look at what the color actually is on that fabric. I think it's actually called, evergreen. 40 count evergreen linen is what is used in this picture. And this doesn't look anything like, I don't know what color evergreen is supposed to be, but it might be the photography or whatever, but the elephants are kind of hard to see on that fabric as it shows up in the photography, in the model. But so I talked about how I did part of had just gotten a start on the border, and so I did a little bit more. This is 28 count Lugana that I dyed myself. So it uses a DMC variegated thread for the border, and the rest are just DMC regular colors. So I worked a little bit on this. I finished the top part of the border up until here, and I wanted to make sure it was the right number of stitches. So I did the flags so that I could have a reference point. So this one I started with. This is the front elephant's flag, and because I was able to count down, count easily to their proper placement, um, I'd done all the way up to here on this top part of the border, and I didn't want to start down until I was sure this was the right length, right? Because I counted it like 3 or 4 times, and I just wanted to make sure that it was correct. So I I did the flags so that I would have, a reference point. And so this I started down this side, and this is just the end of the thread, so I have to start a new thread there. But since I wanted to make sure I had this one correct, so I did the elephant, because I was able to, I started back here on the back of the elephant, because it was close to the flag, the pennant. And so I went down this way, and that gives me, there's like a few stitches for the little hairs on the end of the tail. But that gives me the length of this part of the border. And then this is the bottom of the elephant's feet minus the toenails. And so the bottom border goes right underneath their feet. Putting this upside down. So their feet are right on the border. So that gives me, by putting this elephant in here, it gives me exactly where the bottom border will be also. And then I just started the front elephant, because I had the length of thread left from this elephant. The little baby elephant that goes down here is a different color. So anyway, so I'm making pretty good progress, and I think today is about the 8th or 9th day. 8th, I think. So I just have I have a couple more days, and I want to get as far as I can on that. I want to get the border. If I can get the border done, that'll help. Or the elephants, either one. So anyway, that's Parade of Elephants by Jeannine McGowan of the Blue Flower. And I had to change out my needle minder. This is one I made from some buttons that I got at Joann's a long time ago. Some pins, I should say, the pin-on buttons that I got at Joann's. So I just took the pin backs off and put magnets on there. And the reason I had to switch it up, I had a Love to Stitch needle minder on there, and I knocked it off, and I lost the front of the needle minder. I had the magnet, and there was one needle stuck on there from doing the border, and I found that, but I haven't found the front of the needle minder, so I just stuck a different one on there. Excuse me. Anyway, I did interrupt my parade elephants one day, and I worked on the DMC blue elephant. And I was kind of, because I was kind of curious about that fourth leg, and I wanted to work on it a little, to see if what I had sort of penciled in the chart, if it would look right. But in order to get to it, I wanted to work on just the blue part of the elephant in general and get down there. So you can kind of see it. I might have to do some, just backstitching to sort of make that show up a little better, because it's almost the same color as, actually it's almost the same color as this little indigo splashes that I put in there. This is a aquamarine Rit, and then, like I said, I kind of splashed this indigo in there, and this is the kit Ada that it came with. It's 14 count Ada that came in the kit, And it's a little, the color is a little close to the elephant here. So I might, backstitch around it just to make it show up a little better. And, but anyway, so I was working on this blue part because last week I had done these wrinkles and this ear and this part of the blanket. And that's when I discovered the missing fourth leg. So anyway, I started on the blue of the blue elephant, and I was consulting the picture again. Big mistake. Because, of course, I wanted to see how where the fourth leg placement was. But then also, I realized this is different. It has a big white eye here. And I looked, and so they used like the same white that you see here and there on this pattern. They used it right here. And if you look at the back stitching on the eye, so they backstitch kind of, around and through the eye and put some eyelashes in there. And there's the mouth. And then there's a random thing there and up there for backstitching, as well as what you see like here, the front of the bird and the leaves and everything. So I looked at the pattern, and on the pattern, it doesn't have that white eye. It has like just a little, like a closed eye, just a little V of backstitching, like the elephant's eyes closed or whatever, but shows where the eye is. And then like the little mouth is there. But these other random single backstitch lines up here and right here are not on the pattern. And this white eye and all the back stitching around the eye, not on the pattern. So I thought, well, okay, I could put the eye in there. It's not that difficult. But then I thought, I don't want that. I don't want that eye. I like the little closed eye thing that's on the chart. So I didn't get down to the leg. I'm just got right about here on the elephant, maybe a little lower. Yeah, a little bit lower down here to the bottom of this, right around here. So and I just did a little bit of that on Friday. Yeah, Friday. But so that's really all the stitching that I've done. Just or been working on that parade of elephants, and I think I will hit 10 days as of Sunday or Monday. It will be the end of the 10 days. So, and I'll finish do some more work on the elephant biscornu, and we'll see how that goes. As for haul, I have a little bit of haul. We went to Target this past week at some point. Monday probably. I don't know when it was exactly. But so I got a few things. I got some blue gummy sharks, which are gone, and some trail mix. I don't know if I talked about it last time, but yeah, I think in the last Sticks and Strings video that I did a couple weeks ago, I had talked about an issue I had with a clerk there at Target about a sale they're supposedly having about trail mix. But anyway, so anyway, I bought some stuff this trip. But while I was at it, while we were there, I went, of course, to the dollar spot, and I picked up a few things. This little wagon is so cute. Oh, that'd be cute for just to put fall things in, whatever. And speaking of fall, they had these little pumpkins. They're made out of looks like raffia, and whatever. I didn't take the tags off of them yet, but so they're, just little decorative pumpkins. So I just bought the one. I just saw the one. I didn't really look for them. It just happened to be on the stuff that I was grabbing. And then this little apple basket. I don't even know why I bought it, but it was cute. So just because I itched to spend money. And actually, this week's been kind of like full of little ordeals. I had 3 doctor's appointments that were all like kind of like on the other side of town or whatever, and it seemed like kind of exhausting, exhaustifying, as we say. On Monday, I had it's kind of like a vein circulation, thing that my podiatrist had talked about making sure that I had good circulation and stuff in my legs. So they do it like an ultrasound, and they, check your circulation. So it's pretty involved, thing. They listen, like they start at your hips, basically, the connection where your legs and your hip are connected. But they start there and then go all the way down like to your ankles, on the top of your feet or whatever. So I had this ultrasound goop all over me, here and there, and that was kind of, but otherwise, it went pretty quickly. They took me back pretty quickly, and it just took longer than I anticipated. Anyway, and so that I think that's when we went to Target. We were out and about, doing that. But then on Tuesday, I think it was. Let me think. Wait. Yeah. On Tuesday, I had an MRI of my hand. I think I talked before about how I had this weird lump in my hand, and my primary care doctor suspected like a ganglion, for my wrist bones, a little nerve ganglion there. So I went to this hand surgeon guy, and he wanted to make sure that that's what it was. And so he said, well, you want to get an MRI of that and make sure, what it is and everything else. So that it's not something else. So anyway, so I was scheduled for the hand MRI on Tuesday. And it's, there's an MRI place close, just around the corner, basically, a few blocks away from home. But they don't do hand MRIs for for whatever reason. So we had to go to this one kind of, several blocks away, a couple miles away, actually close to the hospital where my dad is. So, I have annually, and that's changed a little bit. I have, when I had the brain tumor, they left a little sliver of the tumor in place because it was right like on my facial nerve. So to avoid damaging my facial nerve, they left this little sliver of the tumor in there. So theoretically, there's a chance of regrowth, but hopefully not. So anyway, I go every year to get an MRI, check on the status of that little sliver, make sure nothing's changed. And I have a shunt in my head here, which is controlled by a little magnet thingy. So because the MRI is magnetic resonant, anyway, resonant imaging, whatever. I can't the word. I can't say the middle word, but because a strong magnet is involved, I have to have a before and after X-ray of my shunt to make sure that the setting isn't changed by the MRI, right? So I have that for my head, but I didn't anticipate that it would involve my hand. That such a thing would involve my hand. But when I went to get the hand MRI, I was about to go in and have it done, and I was talking with the technician guy, and he's like, and I said, he was asking me about the shunt, and they said, oh no, you have to have a before and after X-ray of the shunt, even though the MRI is of my hand, but that magnet, theoretically could affect the setting of my shunt. So my hand MRI was scheduled kind of late in the afternoon, and then they said, "Oh, well, you have to have the X-ray." So, but fortunately, there's a Simon Med place just here in this sort of little medical complex, on the other end, so you can have the X-ray done there. Well, X-rays are done on a first come first served basis, basically. So you just wait your turn. So I don't know if they bumped me ahead of other people that were in there waiting for X-rays or whatever. I don't know, because I do several other procedures there as well. But eventually they took me in relatively quickly to do the X-ray. And then I had to go back and wait they were going to squeeze me in for the MRI. And then also there was a question about, well, is it your hand or your wrist? Because it's a different, I said, I don't know, this is what the order says. So I had to wait for a while to get the MRI, and that was very uncomfortable too, because I was like, basically lying on my stomach with my hand like this, above my head, whatever. And I was just far enough in that my head was kind of, it was just an uncomfortable position to be in for a while. So anyway, they did the hand MRI, and then I had to go back and get another X-ray, and so I was like going into the X-ray place. It was like 5 minutes to 5 or whatever when when I went back to get the MRI, and fortunately there weren't many people in there. There were like maybe 2 people waiting in the waiting room, and then me. And so they took me back right away, because they were the everybody was leaving, and so I finished like maybe right at 5, and so fortunately I was able to go with my sister to go visit my dad in the evening for a while, so because we were right there. But anyway, so that was just a kind of a long, exhausting ordeal. And then on Friday, I had to go again, like all the way across town to my ENT doctor. But I got good news from him, because he was saying, you've had very consistent MRIs. You haven't had any growth. You haven't, anything else. Your hearing is stable. In my one ear that hears, I don't hear anything out of this ear. So I can now go 2 years before my next MRI, which is good news in the brain tumor world. So anyway, it's been a very involved. And then my dad coming home, my sister and I. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to show. My sister and I have been working on, cleaning up his room a little bit, to make room for the hospital bed, and to take out the bed that he had in there, and cleaning up a few things, and one of the things that we had put off, basically just out of, I don't know, laziness and just having to make decisions and stuff like that about things. We had put off taking out a lot of my mom's things and some all extra stuff that in there that we don't need anymore, or whatever, that came from the house in New Mexico and everything. So anyway, so my sister had found some old purses of my mom's that we were going through, and to just out of Goodwill or whatever. But she found this. There's a little elephant. And there's, it's the same elephant on the back. It's a little embossed thing. It's a little mirror pouch, basically. So there's a little, let's just show you this. It's a mirror that just, sort of like a little compact that goes in your purse. But there's an elephant. Turn it around. There's an elephant on the back of that, too. So my sister's, hey, you want this? That has elephants on it. I'm like, yeah, I do. Let me put this back in here. I got this wrong. Here. Anyway, so yeah, so this little, the mirror just goes in this little pouch here. So it's pretty cute. So that was a happy find. So this is my elephant week, elephant month, I guess. So again, I have to, so I made the decision to leave out this white eye and just make a closed sleepy eye. No, I had it right the first time with the elephant's head here. And then my parade of elephants, I'm hoping to finish working on that. If I can get some more done, maybe on this elephant. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, so like I said, my dad is scheduled to come home today, I think. So I wanted just to add that, again, this weekend, I don't think we're doing gonna do a Three Sisters Creative Sticks and Strings video. Just because we're all, discombobulated for the week. But so hopefully we'll be filming one, posting one next week for sure. Once we get our schedule all settled down with my dad and the routine and all that, it should be for sure by next week. So I think that's everything. So again, this is been a short video, but it should settle down in the next week or so. And so until next week, happy stitching, and I'll see you then. Bye. Thanks.